Hey, it's Sierra, and this is a project for my Women in Latin America class. So in this video, I'm going to be going over beauty standards in Latin America, and I'm also going to be recreating this look that was inspired by a makeup influencer based in Mexico. I really like this look. Not for me personally, but it was really fun to recreate. So if you're interested in seeing this pan out and also learning a lot about beauty standards in Latin America as well as like the history, then just go ahead and keep on watching.
Okay, so this is the influencer that I was talking about. His name is Leo Gayton, and he is from, and I am absolutely going to butcher this, Aguascalientes. It's a city in Mexico. Anyways, I included this video because this one of him, because I just thought it was so different and something that I had never seen before. And truthfully, his makeup is truly revolutionary in every context of the word, in terms of like being in Latin America and even in the United States. He would be considered extremely talented. He is just so talented, and I also included him because he embodies what Latin America beauty looks like, in terms of like the makeup, because it very much so is the bold eye and just being extra bold, as well as like the strong contouring and the highlight, just trying to make it to where it's trying to build structure in your face is what I'm trying to say, and it is trying to bring forth the places that you want to bring forth, like the cheekbones. You want to have a strong jawline, which contour helps with. He also does clients, so he has female clients, and that last picture was one of them, and he truly does a good job no matter whose face he's working on. But it's interesting to see on different skin, or on different faces, his work. That's one of my favorite ones right there. That one is so pretty. I think at this point I was just looking for the one that I was inspired to recreate in this video, but I got sidetracked. Look at how pretty that is. So good. His line work is just impeccable. Like, it's so crazy. He does such a good job. Anyways, if you want, go follow him. Go look him up because he truly is so talented. There's his handle, and yeah. So this is the one that I was inspired to do. It's going to look a little different because I don't have the chunky glitter, but I'm going to try my best. So I'm going in right now with a moisturizer. I did go in and cleanse, exfoliate, and tone my face, and those are very crucial in Latin America makeup. So they do pretty much the same things that Americans do. They go in with a cleansing balm, and then they cleanse, and then they exfoliate, and then they go in with a toner to regulate their pH balance because you just stripped it with all the cleansing and exfoliating. And then after that, you're going to put on a serum, and then a moisturizer, and any eye creams, and SPF. And that is what it looks like in the United States as well. I am a licensed esthetician, so I did study this extensively. But anyways, for years, Latin America has been the beauty industry's secret treasure trove for clean beauty and skincare. As the most biodiverse region in the world, with the Amazon sweeping 40% of South America alone, it is home to the largest number of active natural ingredients, rich in nutrients that help promote healthy skin and reduce signs of aging. While not all natural ingredients make for effective skincare, Latin America contains ingredients rich in fatty acid that helps our skin retain moisture and keeps it looking healthy. I looked on Cosmopolitan for Mexico, and it was all in Spanish, so I had to literally go and translate everything. But it was saying that 4 hacks to achieve perfect skin. The first one is clean your smartphone, and it says, did you know that there are millions of bacteria on your cell phone screen? Imagine what happens when you place it next to your face. Cleaning it regularly will make you forget about that horror scene. I just thought that was funny, the way that they worded that, like a horror scene. The second one is rest like Sleeping Beauty. It's not just a story. During the night, your skin works to repair itself. Staying up late is like a magnet for the appearance of signs of premature aging, bags under the eyes, and dull skin. I could definitely use some more sleep, I guess. The third one is reading the fine print. There are ingredients that damage the skin and the environment. Instead, look for options that nourish your skin with superfoods and ultra nutritious ingredients from nature. Clean beauty is the solution. And finally, the fourth one is make it personal. What works for your BFF doesn't work for you. Although they share tastes, they do not share the same skin type. Check your specific needs before purchasing any treatment, even if it's viral and everyone uses it. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. The way they worded that, first of all, like the way they said horror scene, like if you're not beautiful and you don't have beautiful skin, like it could be a horror scene. Like that's pretty dramatic, I would say. And yeah, I also noticed that the way that they worded this, like your BFF, that's very much so like teenage, like it seems like they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, so they're trying to like encapture like a younger audience, and then like the spiral effect will happen and they're going to just capture them in their little beauty industry. I don't know. Okay, so it goes on to say, if you were Googling the word Latina, you would probably quickly notice how similar all the women in the images are. You'd see the dramatic curvy body, the bronze facial expression, the pouty lips, the long voluptuous hair, and the mysterious stare. So this is what I could find when I looked up Latin American beauty for the most part. I didn't want to do this because I wanted to do something different, but as you can see, that is what that author is trying to describe. Anyways, Brazil is now the 4th biggest market for beauty products in the world. Mexico is ranked 7th, and Argentina 16th. Brazil, Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina regularly feature in the top 10 countries for plastic surgery. Brazil is the world leader for breast implants and liposuction. When I think of Latin America, I think of their beauty standards, and I think of the Brazilian butt lift, the Brazilian wax, and stuff like that. That's what I think of when I think of Latin America, and that's a huge reason why I chose this as my topic for this class. Anyways, I'm going to now go into the history. Okay, so consumption was probably driven by biological desires to attract and reproduce. Beauty products prior to the huge beauty industry were commonly made in people's homes or in small batches by craftsmen. Most people had neither time nor money to devote to beauty. The advent of modern industry and modern marketing in the 19th century changed everything. Beauty became a business. Skincare, cosmetics, and perfumes began to be made in factories. They came up with attractive packaging. They secured endorsements from celebrities. Brands offered hope in a jar. The modern industry was born in the rich industrialized world of Western Europe and the United States. Beauty became associated with the Western appearance, with Paris and New York as aspirational global beauty capitals. The feature of white people were hailed as the global standard of beauty, and others were considered ugly. Beauty was gendered. Reflecting hardening gendered identities in the 19th century, beauty products became associated with women rather than men, which has never been the case historically. The modern beauty industry, along with the underlying ideological assumptions, was brought to Latin America by European and United States firms. Only a handful of urban dwellers had the incomes and lifestyles sufficient to buy such imported brands. The first product United States and European firms introduced in the region was toilet soap and toothpaste. Western multinationals made markets and created consumer desire. Marketing strategies were skillfully adjusted to local conditions. In Brazil, women rarely read newspapers, which was the primary way of advertising in the Western world, so they had to switch to the radio. This enticed Latin American women to emulate the latest beauty fashions of the United States and Europe. American and European models were used in advertisements. The United States and European firms only celebrated white beauty. The whiteness, if the emergent Latin American beauty culture, was evident in the beauty contests, in which pale skins were exclusively featured. The first Brazilian contest was held in 1921 through photographs. The second contest in 1929, which appointed a Miss Brazil to represent the county at a Miss Universe contest held in Texas that year. The participant and winners were all white. The privileging of whiteness was a norm of the global beauty industry, but it aligned well with the deep-seated racism throughout Latin America. The social elites aspired to raise the country's international status by demonstrating its progress, and it was becoming more European. The real growth of the beauty market became later in the 20th century. The United States and European companies devoted increasing attention to Latin America. The region had high tariff barriers, but most countries allow foreign firms to manufacture and sell locally. This was the big contrast to most Asian and Africa. This was in big contrast to most of Asia and Africa, where multinational firms were unwelcome or entirely blocked. Revlon opened its first foreign factory in Mexico in 1948. The German hair care company Wella started manufacturing in Chile in 1952, Brazil in 1954, Argentina in 1957, and in Mexico in 1961. Avon opened a new manufacturing business in Puerto Rico in 1954. It slowly moved to Venezuela, Cuba, Mexico, and Brazil. And if you don't know what Avon is a multi-level marketing, and the brand model is where individuals sell products or services by recruiting a network of distributors who also recruit others, creating multi-levels of participants and earning commission based on both their own sales and the sales of their recruits down the line. Essentially, a system where people make money not just by selling product directly, but also by bringing in new sellers to the network. It's also called a pyramid scheme. The direct selling was perfect for Latin America because there were few department stores and only fragmented retail channels. Direct selling by sales enabled Avon to reach women in their workplace and homes. Avon revolutionized the game in Latin America because even today, nearly 1/3 of all beauty sales are made through direct sales. 80% of lipstick sales are made through direct selling. Avon was very skilled at enticing people to buy cosmetics. When entering a new market, it began with the acquisitioning representatives and customers with the Avon line. Providing representatives with the desirable products at good prices, it tailored its strategy to local circumstances, invested heavily in cosmetic education in countries such as Venezuela. In Brazil, Avon responded to prevailing gender norms, which disapproved of women working outside the home, with a campaign to portray direct selling as a respectable activity akin to marriage. As incomes rose, growing numbers of urban middle class, overwhelmingly white rather than indigenous or Afro-Latina, had money to spend on consumer products beyond essentials. It was associated with the aspirational glamour and economic success of the United States and Europe, to which so many urban Latin Americans were attracted to. Over time, as the beauty business became established, it also acquired a life of its own. Beauty salons and institutes flourished, means out of poverty for many Latin American women. They could earn extra income as direct sales representatives or by manicuring nails in tiny salons. Winning a beauty contest became the equivalent to winning the lottery. Beauty pageants became big business. Televisions invested in promoting them. Contestants enhanced their appearance, often through surgery or hormones, public speaking skills, and so much else, like they needed to have a talent. Venezuelan plastic surgeons became world experts in a procedure known as boom boom, which injected a woman's own fat into her buttocks to make them bigger. The rewards for winners of beauty pageants were dazzling for careers opening up for them as models and television presenters, and even occasionally in politics. Okay, so I'm now going to move into the plastic surgery side of Latin America and how that pertains to beauty standards in Latin America. So, Latin American women regularly encounter messages about societal beauty ideals via different sources and forums to which they are internalized at varying degrees. This can impact the way Latin women perceive and relate to their bodies. Much of the research on body image dissatisfaction and disordered eating has focused on white, affluent, heterosexual, small-bodied, able-bodied cis women, with an emphasis on only body size and shape. Body modifications through cosmetic procedures such as buttock augmentation, breast implants, rhinoplasty, and skin color lightening is a common way of obtaining a thin, curvaceous figure and other features of the curvaceous ideal Latin woman. The curvaceous ideal might be salient among Latin women since the media image displays and objectifies them with large busts or breasts. The level of cosmetic plastic surgery seen today in the region may justify being seen as obsessive obsessive, as well as frequently dangerous because of the large informal and illegal components of the industry. In Brazil, people are thought to have the right to beauty, which means that plastic surgeons and hospitals are free or low costs, and government subsidize nearly 500,000 surgeries per year. In public hospitals, where these plastic surgeries are free or much cheaper than the private clinics, patients declare that they were basically like guinea pigs for the medical residents who would operate on them. Despite the risks, though, many women in Brazil feel like it is a bigger risk to live without beauty. Beauty is perceived as being so central for job market, so crucial for finding a spouse, and so essential for any chance at upward mobility that man couldn't say no to these surgeries, or a woman can't say no to these surgeries. So a couple articles that I was reading mentioned this guy. His name is Ivo Pintagai. I am completely butchering that. And they actually named him the Pope of Plastic Surgery. So in the late 1950s, he convinced President, these names are horrible, Juscelino Kubitschek, that the right to beauty was as basic as any other health need. Pintagai made the case that ugliness caused so much psychological suffering in Brazil that the medical case could not turn its back on this humanitarian issue. In the 1960s, he opened the first institute that offered plastic surgery to the poor. On that doubled as a medical school to train new surgeons. It was so successful that it became the educational model followed by many other plastic surgery residencies around the country. In return for free or low-cost surgeries, working-class patients would help surgeons learn and practice their trade. So that is a huge indicator that it was very, very dangerous. So I find this to be really interesting because a lot of my friends, they go to Mexico to get these surgeries. Like a lot of my friends get these surgeries. And I knew that plastic surgery had been very popular in Latin America, but I didn't realize that it was this popular. And I also didn't realize how extreme it is and how in Brazil they believe it is your right to beauty, and how they're essentially just letting people practice. And I don't know, this just doesn't seem right. I definitely will not be going to Brazil and having any plastic surgery done. But there is one person and one article that I ran across, and she lives in Latin America, and she believes that it's very problematic, this stereotype of women. She basically says that it's perpetuated in media and in social norms. She says, take TV shows and movies as an example. A woman who fits the curvaceous and seductive look portrays your average Latina character. She most likely has a thick accent, with someone's love interest, but only temporarily, and tends to be more simple-minded than most of the other characters. When combined with her tight-fitting clothing, you come to perceive the Latino woman as a synonym of sexy, passionate, and spicy. And the first person that I think of is Sofia Vergara, and that's when I think of someone Latina, I think of her. And it is exactly that depiction. She goes on to say, not all Latinas come from the same place. Not all Latinas are born with the ideal physical features. Not all Latinas are European mixed with spicy, as Western culture may want. She goes on to mention how she cut off 12 inches of her hair earlier in the year and how this deeply affected her because she didn't feel like she looked Latina anymore. And I just think that that's crazy, and it's sad how the beauty industry distorts some of these people who may not be able to afford these cosmetic surgeries into believing that they're not beautiful. And I know that in marketing in the beauty industry from my days in esthetician school, they really target women's insecurities. Like vaginal washes, they target women who are insecure about, maybe they smell down there or something like that. They really target women's insecurities, as well as like having imperfect skin. They really target that with like foundations and cover-ups, as well as like different skincare. But anyways, that is my video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something from it. This is the final product of all that look. It's not nearly as good, but I did try really hard and I enjoyed the process, and I'm glad that you guys stuck with me and enjoyed the process with me. So thank you so much. And this is my final project for my Women in Latin America class. Thank you.